Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, Jerron Rice, founder and CEO of Magathy Payments, Maryland's highest rated merchant services provider. Back for another episode of whatever this is. Haven't quite figured it out yet, but got a lot of good information that you, the people, the small business community, need to know and need to understand. So today I wanted to talk to you about Maryland's House Bill 777, which is now signed into law, and what it does to protect you, the small business owner, from the predators in our industry, whether it's the banks or the merchant services provider. So when I got into this industry a little over 6 years ago, I noticed a huge problem. I would meet with a business owner who wanted to switch their payment processing over to us. We were saving them, a couple $100 a month. And then when they went to go cancel the service with their previous provider attempted to levy fines upwards of thousands of dollars for switching their services. So what happens here is oftentimes a merchant services provider or a bank on their agreement for merchant services, on the signature page, there's a line that says, by signing this document, you are agreeing to our terms and services, which can be located here. And on the piece of paper, there is a written out URL that has a link to an often 75 to 100 page document, which is their terms and services. And buried in the middle of that huge document in 6-point font, there is a clause that says this agreement is good for 3 years. And if you cancel before 3 years, we will charge a cancellation fee of $499 and liquidated damages penalties of $100, $200, $300 a month for all of the remaining months left on the agreement. So in essence, the merchant services provider is saying, by you taking your business elsewhere, you are causing us financial harm, and so we are going to bill you for our lost profit. Well, of course they're causing you financial harm because you suck. And if you didn't suck, they wouldn't leave. But that's a huge problem that we were dealing with. So merchants were getting stuck in these agreements, and the merchant services providers would give them literally a 30-day window that they were allowed to cancel that agreement, or it would automatically renew, right? So I am a mission-driven type of person. It's in my nature. I cannot see a wrong being done and just be quiet and be silent about it. So providentially, I ran into a gentleman who was a referral. He owned a cigar shop, and I was telling him things that I had seen in the industry about, big banks and merchant services providers ripping off small businesses. We were kind of trading horror stories and things that he had seen, and I jokingly said to him, I wish I could make that illegal, right? Or I wish I could write a law to make that illegal, something to that effect. And he looked at me and he said, did I mention to you that I'm a state delegate? And I said, no, you did not, but that would be useful. So it's Delegate Seth Howard here in Anne Arundel County. And he invited me down to Annapolis. I met with his legislative team. We hammered out a bill. And it took us 3 years, 3 legislative sessions to get this bill passed. But basically what it does is, if you are a small business in Maryland, you have less than 50 employees, and you are processing less than $2 million in credit card volume a year, this is designed to protect you. That's the majority of our clients are those small businesses. So what it does is it caps all of the fees, fines, penalties, liquidated damages that a company can charge you at $500. So it kind of levels the playing field and makes it more competitive in our industry, so that if you are a small business owner and you're not happy with the service that your merchant services provider is providing, you can then shop elsewhere without fear of a huge financial retribution being levied on you for taking your business somewhere else. It also makes it so that if your agreements automatically renew, once it automatically renews, there can be no fees, fines, or penalties levied once you're in the renewal period. The information about your cancellation fees, it has to be in 12-point bold font on the actual agreement that you sign, and the renewal date, the penalty for cancellation, the contact information of the merchant services provider, all of those have to be on the actual agreement that you sign in 12-point bold font, and each individual clause has to be initialed by the merchant. So this was huge in bringing transparency to our industry, which is obviously not known for being transparent. And the first couple of years, we had a lot of opposition, First Data and the Maryland Bankers Association and all of these big, huge corporations that didn't want us to go forward with this legislation. Even though I work in the industry, my industry hates me because this legislation in Maryland affects how merchant services providers can compensate their sales agents, because they know that they can no longer slam a merchant for thousands of dollars. So they can't afford to pay this merchant sales rep, several $100s, $1,000 in upfront bonuses, knowing that they can recoup the money if the business takes their business elsewhere. So it really ruffled some feathers and pissed off a lot of people. But frankly, I don't care. I believe that this is the right thing to do. I am a free market capitalist. I believe in the less government, the better. But the payments processing industry is like the Wild West, and these merchant services providers and big banks were running roughshod all over the small business community. And I think that merchant services providers, banks, and their clients, the actual small businesses, that we should be on the same side of the table. We have a vested interest in the long-term growth and success of their business. Why are you trying to violate the people that are your customers, right? I don't get that. I don't understand that. So, we took steps to change that. So if you are a business owner in Maryland, again, you have less than 50 employees and you're processing less than $2 million a year, this applies to you. This was signed in April of 2019. It went into effect October of 2019. So as of this recording, this is the last day of November 2020, it is in effect and it is protecting you right now. So if you have any other questions about that legislation, you can visit www.mdhb777.com, like Maryland House Bill 777.com. And there's more information about that and how you can file a claim if you have a merchant services provider that's violating that regulation. All right. So I hope that information was helpful, and we're continuing to commit to bring you some useful content. Hope you guys are having a great day.